Hey guys, watching Bottom 25 here, watching the launch of Starlink 4. Because the first launch was Starlink 0, this is the 5th batch, I believe. I'm pretty sure it is, that's what I read, if I read it correctly. So this is launching 60 Starlink satellites, and unlike the previous launches, this one will be shorter, it will only be the 15-minute launch profile essentially. Because they're going to go into an elliptical orbit as opposed to the usual circularization procedures, which make the launch procedures over now.
30 seconds.
This is also the 4th flight of this booster, with the first ones being CRS 17, 18, and the JCSat 18 or Pacific 1.
15 seconds.
Launch back in December. I'll talk more about that, but we're at T-10, so let's watch the launch.
9, 8, 7,
6.
5.
There goes the deluge system is on.
3, 2, 1.
There was ignition there. Ignition.
Lift off.
Off with the Falcon 9. There she blows.
Falcon 9's pitching downrange.
There we go. See how loud that is. I shall wait a bit before continuing my commentary, shall we say. There we go, US flag on the side of that fairing. There will be another attempted recovery of those fairings, but I won't be able to tell you how those went. So far, SpaceX has apparently successfully recovered 3 fairings and has fished out more from the water.
T plus 47 seconds, and we have just had liftoff of our Falcon 9 vehicle, taking our Starlink payload to its targeted orbit. In about 15 seconds or so, we will be passing through max Q. Max Q is the maximum aerodynamic pressure that the vehicle will see throughout its ascent.
Basically the most atmospheric stresses being placed on the vehicle. So this is the shortest turnaround time SpaceX is
experiencing maximum aerodynamic pressure.
And there's that call out for max Q.
This usually happens in the transonic region.
In about a minute will be 3 events happening in rapid succession.
MECO, second stage engine ignition,
followed immediately
and fairing
by
sep.
stage separation, and this is where the first stage separates from the second stage, and then followed by SES1 or second engine start 1.
And that will be followed shortly by the fairing separation.
And you can see on your screen, this is a nice live view looking aft on the vehicle, so you can see those Merlin engines burning real bright right now with
you can see
in the background.
See the fumes starting to spread out the exhaust as the air pressure decreases. And this is the shortest turnaround time SpaceX has had.
About 30 seconds away if you're just now joining us. The next 3 events coming up will be MECO, or main engine cutoff, stage separation, and SES1, second engine start 1.
Now then, the thing about,
and as we mentioned, today we will only be having 1 burn of the second stage.
Yes. Now, this is the shortest turnaround time of a first stage booster, because the Pacific launch happened in December, so it's an 8-week turnaround. Now, you can kind of see frost and stuff in the engine and in the interstage.
Stage separation confirmed.
And
there
ignition.
We just had MECO main engine cutoff.
There's ignition. Now the reason for that frost there is because
on your right screen, that engine is starting up and should
the
be
grid fins are deploying
shortly here.
Yeah, there you can see the engine bell heating up.
Now coming up in about 5 seconds, we will have fairing deploy. Should also be able to see this on your screen.
There we go, you can see the first stage starting to turn around. The fairings are deployed.
Fairing deploy. Now both fairing halves are making their way back to Earth. Let's hope that we can catch both of them today on
that will be
Mystery
interesting. See the first stage is starting to turn to go engine first through the atmosphere. Good, you can see the engine is burning. So this, at least Starlink satellites, despite this, like each individual satellite being pretty light, is one of the heaviest payloads SpaceX has lofted into orbit. Just due to the fact that there is 60 of them. I'll actually
Okay,
check
stage 2
the
continues to burn
exact
nominally with those
weight.
60 Starlink satellites up on top, while stage 1 begins its descent down to the drone ship.
So wait,
So coming up,
let's say
very soon,
260
we're going to have a few
kg.
events on stage 1. The first
So
is
it's
the
260
entry
kg
burn.
times
That's
60,
coming
so
out of
give me a
about
moment.
T plus 6 minutes and 48 seconds or so. That's where 3 of the M1D engines are going to reignite, and what they do is they slow the first stage down as it re-enters the upper part of the Earth's atmosphere.
So that's
That burn is gonna
15,
go for about 20
a bit over
seconds
15 and a half
until you hear
tons.
the call out stage 1 entry burn end. About a minute and a half after the conclusion of that entry burn will be the landing burn. Now that's where we reignite the center E9 engine on the bottom of Falcon 9 on that first stage. And what that does
did
is
she just
it
say E9
slows the
engine?
vehicle down as
I presume
zero
this is more of a
velocity
9 ship.
as those landing
Wait.
legs are deploying.
Or
and
center of the
hopefully
9 more than
placing
engines?
this
I don't know.
stage on the drone ship for the 4th time, and hopefully marking the 50th successful landing of a Falcon 9 booster.
I mean, these onions are always sight to see, although the video tends to get a bit dodgy if the landing is on a drone ship due to the fact that the
Stage 2
drone
trajectory
ship starts
continues to be
shaking
nominal.
vigorously
We're hearing that impact power
due to the engine.
and everything is
Due to the
looking
exhaust
really
hitting
awesome.
the ship. There we go. No. So I don't know what that thing is just kind of floating around there. 'Cause at first I thought it was just something in the RCS, there's a bit of an event like there, I think, and that can
Stage
build
2
up ice.
is
But
burning
no.
with more than
So I have no idea what that is.
210,000 pounds of thrust. And the 60 satellites that are on top of that second stage are going to join the previous batches of Starlink satellites already in orbit, further
So we're
filling
like
in our
200
constellation,
and-
which gets us another step closer to providing high-speed, low-latency internet access to people on that beautiful blue planet right there.
There we go,
targeting
the thing that
places
just
where
fell off, so I have
broadband
no idea what
connectivity
that is.
options like fiber are too expensive or unreliable or even sometimes completely unavailable.
Right, let's see. So currently there are 242 launched and 237 operational. I presume some of them failed on orbit, and I presume the
We're
initial
about
two
15 seconds away from
the
that
two
entry
tests
burn. Hopefully we'll
are
see
no
that plume
longer
on the left side of the screen
successful. As the entry burn is about to begin. Oh, you can see the Earth is getting bigger awfully quickly now. For the first stage. You see the
Stage
grid
1
finish
FTS
section.
is saved.
Stage 1 entry burn has started.
FTS, by the way, is flight
As you can see,
termination
that
software.
entry burn has begun.
Yeah, a bit of an
Fairing
issue.
vessels have AOS.
Okay, I presume that's acquisition
We
of
lost
signal
the
for the
downlink
fairing.
there just for a second, but hopefully we'll get it right back soon.
Yeah, probably just a bit of vibration.
And stage 1 entry burn is shut down.
Good.
All right, and
So
as
that
you
means
just heard,
that's-
that entry burn has concluded, and I'm also hearing that it was a pretty good one.
That seems to indicate there
So
are bad
coming up
ones.
next-
Stage LOS expected.
I believe this will be the
Coming
50th
up
landing
next for
of the
stage
SpaceX
1,
first stage.
in just under a minute, is going to
And the
be
80th
the start of
successful
the
launch.
landing burn. This will be, if successful, the 50th successful landing of a booster. Of a
Yep,
Falcon
just said
booster.
that.
Not necessarily a Falcon 9. We've landed boosters for Falcon Heavy as well, and this counts
Oh,
as one
fair
of
enough,
those.
yes. Fair point. Completely forgot about Falcon Heavy. Actually, I am curious how that's going. Well, not how that's going. The thing is successful, but when will the next launch be? Seems you don't have downlink from even the drone ship at the moment.
Okay, we're a little over 10 seconds away from that landing burn start. Meanwhile, stage 2 continues
Stage
to
2 is
form
enter
nominally.
terminal guidance.
Stage 1 landing burn has started.
Oh, there we go. There's the
All
drone
right,
ship.
let's see what we can see here on the left side of the screen. It's a beautiful day out there.
Not much at the moment. Just pretty
Landing legs have deployed.
good. Oh, did it miss? I think it missed. Because you can see smoke coming from the side of the drone ship, so I'm pretty sure that was a failed landing attempt. Pretty sure the booster splashed down next to it.
Evac shut down.
The fact that there's water falling on the lens makes me think the thing...
Okay, we were
Stage two
expecting...
FPS is saved.
We were expecting the call out for landing, and we obviously didn't see it there on the drone ship, so let's look back at stage 2.
Newfoundland AOS.
And we clearly did not make the landing this time.
Yeah, quite
However,
clearly you
stage
missed.
2, we have confirmed SECO, which is second engine cutoff. Let's listen for the call out of the orbit.
So this is not the 50th successful landing.
Cape LOS expected.
LOS loss of
And we
signal.
have a good
Nominal orbital
orbit.
insertion. of
There
stage
you
two.
can see all the Starlink satellites.
All right, now stage 2 is going to coast in this orbit for a few minutes, and during this time it'll start to spin along its central axis, which gives the Starlink satellites the momentum that they need to space themselves out over time after they deploy. So we're going to take a really quick break here and then return at T plus 13 minutes and 45 seconds.
Or mute the music, don't want to get copyrighted. Basically, the reason for that spinning is because the Starlink satellites don't have your traditional like explosive bolts to separate them, because those would be extra weight. They're kind of held down by a string being held under tension, I think, and then they cut that and the satellites just kind of float away as the angular velocity, I think, as it spins. But anyway, yes, as I was talking about the Falcon Heavy earlier, it's going to be third quarter of this year that's going to be the launch. Because that will be Space 44, which is going to be the first classified launch of Falcon Heavy, which is, Department of Defense. Right, I will take a look to see what we can see about the what's it called? The booster landing. So I'll just check SpaceX's Twitter. I might add link to the description, like what happened to the fairings. Because I think that either the thing was going too quickly, and as such it was like the computer immediately realized no, the sounding isn't going to work, so they deliberately missed the drone ship so not to completely mess up the drone ship. Whereas the vehicle's currently approximately over Newfoundland. No. I'm going to look at all possible sources that I can think of to figure out what happened. Because at the moment it isn't quite clear what happened. No, almost at not Falcon deploy, Starlink deploy. Nope. Who else could I look up? Trying to figure out when the copyrighted music ends. But you can see the stage is rotating now. Yeah.
Separated from the second stage, they will slowly disperse from one another, and in the days and weeks that come, deploy their solar array, use their onboard ion propulsion system to raise
Which
and
uses
circularize
Krypton, by
their
the way.
orbit, and start beaming down broadband internet to Starlink engineers to test performance. Once the satellites have been deployed, the second stage will conduct a passivation maneuver and be safely deorbited within months. We should be coming up on that deployment of the Starlink satellites in just a few moments here, in about 15 seconds or so. And we should be able to see that live. What you're looking at is those flat-packed satellites right there. On
This
your
is
screen.
always a sight to see, I'll give them that. Right. Oh, don't tell me we lost signal just as that was about to happen.
We lost that live view, but it should be coming back here shortly.
Right, scheduled time of deployment. Don't worry, you should still get a good view of it.
Starlink tension rod separation confirmed.
And as you heard, the tension rod separation has been confirmed. So our payload should be deploying shortly here.
Oh, there you go.
And there it goes. Another
And I've
round
got
of
another view of the
satellites
full thing, but
out
you
in
can still see
space.
the point of it.
So with that, that brings our webcast to a close. We had an on-time liftoff this morning, a good stage separation. First stage made its way back to Earth. Unfortunately, we did not land the first stage on our drone ship, but it did make a soft landing on the water right next to the drone ship, so it does look like it might be in one piece. Again, that is our secondary mission, so we will try again next time. Our primary mission is now complete. Our Starlink satellites are in their targeted orbit and will be making their way to their final orbit using their onboard thrusters.
The question
So
now.
thank you to the 45th Space Wing for range safety and the FAA for licensing today's launch, as well as the FCC.
We'd also like to thank you guys, all of our viewers, for tuning in. You can follow our website and social media platform for updates on Stage 1. You can also follow for updates on the fairing catches and our next missions and milestones. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Right, so this has happened before. They were like, yeah, we're not going to try to recover the thing, it probably will fail, and then the rocket successfully landed. So if the booster is intact, stage 1 I mean, give me a moment. Like last time it got strafed by, I think it was at the RAF, by the US Air Force. Nope. It was strafed by the US Air Force because they couldn't be saved. So did they come up with a solution for that, or what? Anyway, that was the launch of Starlink 4 on a Falcon 9. As you can see, the booster recovery didn't quite go as well. I'm Barton25.